All right, doctors of our PI Doctors Elite community. I know you know who I am, Dr. Tony, your administrator and founder. Welcome to the presentation. Today, we're going to be giving you some great stuff, and we haven't visited this subject for a little bit other than putting it on our PI Doctors community. I wanted to get a fresh outlook, and I tracked down Annie Brown. She's been with us as sponsor for the last forever, since probably our PI group has become into the Facebook community, and want to thank her for all that. She's going to give us some updates and what she's been doing for a lot of doctors, especially a lot of our members and doctors across the United States, of how to get legally and professionally accident lists to help many people who don't know maybe what to do out there to get help through their healthcare practitioners, meaning that's why we wanted to bring it to our PI community. And of course, as she will tell you, the different states have different laws and restrictions, but this is a way, basically through her professional marketing company, that she can bring them right into your office. So we wanted to thank her. And a little bit about Annie. Oh my, she's been out there. She doesn't look like she's that old, but she's not old at all. I always say that. 20 something years plus out there marketing. She started back in the Twin Cities with a doctor and decided to work with him in personal injury and start marketing for him, and boy, it just kind of expanded out to where she put together her own professional company for services in this fact, and she'll tell you more about that. And we're welcome to have her here and thank her for her support. And she has her colleagues there, Juliana, she will introduce, and Mariani. And right now, I'm just going to turn it over to Annie. Annie, thanks for being here and your time, and for Juliana and Mariani also.
Cool. Thank you, Dr. William. It's good to see you. Oh, he's gone. You've disappeared off here. Okay. Are you going to be off this whole time?
I'm just picture off because you got the stage.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here with you, though.
I miss you already. Okay. So hello, I'm Annie Brown. I do have part of my team with me here, but I guess I'll just start into telling you what we do before I introduce them. We specialize in helping you get car accident victims into the doors of your office. And so I've been doing this 23 years. I started at a chiropractic office in Minnesota, the Twin Cities area, which is where I'm from. And I literally just wanted to help this chiropractor, who actually happens to be my daughter's godfather. I wanted to help him really actually make more money. And my background and training is in business administration and in marketing. So I just said, you know, his income would go, his statistic on his graph would go up and then down and then up and then down. And so I went and he'd be all stressed out when he was down. And I said, hey, how do you make your money as a chiropractor? Kind of an obvious question for me from a business viewpoint idea. And he said, work comp or PI. And I was like, what are those, right? So I found out, I just kind of randomly picked personal injury. There was another office, a chiropractic office south of the cities in the Twin Cities area that was doing a PI program. So I contacted their PI girl and I called her up and I said, hey, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm doing this PI program thing, but it's not working. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, why don't you send over what it is that you're doing and let me look at it. So she sent it over and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, this is stupid. I would never respond to this thing in the mail, never in a million years. So I changed the piece around, modified it. It was extremely expensive the way she was even sending it out. I whittled it down to, you know, what was barely needed in order to get responses. And then I developed a phone call to the crash victims as well, that I used as to follow up with on that mailing piece. So I started mailing. Actually, before that, let's back it up. Before that, I knew what the laws were in the area. You know, the chiro I was working with knew the laws on personal injury marketing. So we determined that what I was doing was in compliance with the rules and the laws. So that's number one. Number two, so we weren't violating anything, which is a big deal, as you can appreciate. And it is for me. Number two, then I drove around to the surrounding police station, sheriff's department, and highway patrol offices within about a 10 or 15-mile radius to that office location. And I really just established ongoing relationships with those stations and got their agreement to start providing ongoing crash reports to me in a format that I wanted them. Okay, so got all that data, started mailing them, started doing phone calls. If the phone numbers weren't on the reports, which most of them weren't, I looked them up and I developed a phone call as well that kind of went with that mailing piece, and started getting PI cases in the door. And the chiropractor I was working with, Dr. Lieberman, was an outstanding closer, meaning if the person had legitimate concerns from the accident, he had an extremely good ability to get that person to agree to start care. So I went along merrily for X many years. We were getting between 12 to 13 PIs on average every month. Actually, that was the bottom that started care in his office. I think our highest month was 25 or 26. He had an MDDC office. And that's how I started doing this, because I started having chiropractors approach me that had a satellite office somewhere else, and they wanted me to help them. So I did. I helped them. Fast forward 23 years, my own internal business model has expanded and changed and moved around and whatnot. And I've also gone into other states. I'm in about 9 or so locations, and I've helped establish other locations for other chiropractic offices. I'm, from Tennessee to Oregon to, I'm looking at my list, Wisconsin to Ohio, all over the place, Boston. Just without giving you the entirety of my whole business story, just in present time, what we do specifically is, one, when you contact me as a chiropractor, one of the first things we're going to look at is the laws in your area, the laws. And I have an attorney that I've worked with for 7-8 years or so that does all my legal research regarding the public records aspect of crash reports, because I depend on those in order to market to the crash victims. And then also the marketing and solicitation aspect from the state itself or the chiropractic board, as well as the bar association. So we get all that data. And so we know what the rules are in those in the states. So I know if we can help you or not. That's number one. Number two, then once we know we can help you, we also then we do a service to help get set up the stations, the police stations around your office. If they're not already set up, they have to go through that step of getting set up, because we have to be able to get the crash reports. So that's it. Some places I have the crash reports available, like Twin Cities, or some spots in Oregon, or some spots in Tennessee. And so you can call me up and go, hey, you got crash reports in these areas, and we can go from that point. But if you're calling me from somewhere that we don't already have the crash reports, that is the first step that we do. And it's a service, like we offer that as a service. It's a thing, because we have to contact the stations and get their agreement to start providing ongoing crash reports. That service is called research and establishment, and it's its own service. It has its own technique to it. We employ my attorney very heavily on anything we need to handle stations, because oftentimes we have to handle stations. Juliana has also helped out on that role, so she knows about doing that and interfacing with stations. So, and then once we get the stations agreeing to start providing the crash reports, good, we're ready to go. Well, almost ready to go. That's one part of the piece, is the crash reports set up and ready to be able to be emailed to your office. The next is, now how do you get that group of people, the crash victims, how do you get them to magically arrive in your office? So there's 2-prong attack on that, which is the same thing I started with, which is a mailing, and your staff running a mailing program, which is a thing. And then the second thing, and what mailing to send them and the whole thing. And the second is the phone calls. If you can legally do phone calls in your area, we currently offer phone calls. Now, I didn't do that for many years. For many years, I did it myself for 8, and then I stopped, and I had the office do it. Now, we recently have picked up doing phone calls as well and offering it because we found out that that is part of the difficulty that offices are running into is they don't quite have a good person. And that's a massive thing, having a good cold caller. Any chiropractor listening to this, you know what I'm talking about. Your cold caller has to be a certain type of person. So I'm going to introduce my team to you, and they can tell you a little bit about anything about it because they've been with me for a while. Both of them are specialists in what they do. Mariani Vivas has been with me for a long time. She's done just about everything in the company, but she consults offices and helps to train your staff on the mailing and what to do with the mailing program, etc. And she also works with the telemarketer, and our telemarketer, who has also worn the hat of helping me set up stations, is Juliana Owens here. So why don't I just start introducing both of you? I don't know what sequence to do it in. Mariani, do you guys have a suggestion? Doesn't matter to me.
I guess I can start
Okay,
the
perfect.
first. Yeah, thank you, Annie. And thank you, Dr. Tony Williams, for having us here at this teleconference. I guess I can start because it all starts from, starting the consulting and the training with me. I will help your office and your staff, get fully set up to do the mailers and truly understand what to do with the car accident list, right? That you will be receiving every day, every week from us. And once that's fully set up and your team is like ready and you have like a pocket to pocket cycle of what to do with this car accident list and the mailers, of course, Juliana comes into the picture because now that the mailers are going out, those phone calls are flanking that mailing piece, right? So Juliana plays an amazing and very important role in following up those letters, right? The letters are like the first marketing touch, and then the telemarketing on the phone calls would be like that second marketing touch. And it also allows us to like have a direct engagement with that car accident victim. And it just gives that personal touch, right? It just enhances the whole marketing line tremendously, I would say. As Juliana and I, with Eni, have seen, the telemarketing just doesn't compare, right, with anything. It's just that personal touch, that direct communication, and that direct care that Juliana, shows. And she really cares. That's the beauty about Juliana. She's owned a chiropractic office in the past. She understands chiropractic offices. She understands the PI world. And so she really puts that care forth in those phone calls that she performs every single week, right? So that's me, that's my job. I will help you and your team get fully set up with the car accident list, how to prepare the mailers. I will help you get trained on also how to keep track of the metrics, right? In anything we do with marketing, we want to keep the statistics, metrics, results. I will help you with that as well. There's a program that we provide as part of our premium service. It's just a software system that simply very simple to use, and then you'll be able to track what's happening once those mailers are going out, once the phone calls are being done, how many people get booked, how many people show up to their appointments, any follow-ups that need to be done, and how many people actually start care, right? Because that's the end result and that's our goal. We not only want personal injury cases to arrive into your doors, but we want to make sure that they're starting care and that they're winning, because when they're winning, everybody wins, right? We all win. So that's what I do. And then I'm going to turn it over now to Juliana so that she can talk about her successful actions, doing the telemarketing and the amazing results that she has seen, again, from delivering that personal touch in every phone call that she does for our clients. So go ahead, Juliana.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mariani and Annie. Yeah, I mean, Mariani has covered a lot of the things that I do, but the biggest thing is that I really don't come across as a telemarketer. That is the thing, is that I really don't want to sound like a telemarketer. I'm very friendly when I make my phone calls. I'm a person who is calling another person, and when I'm calling as a representative, as from from someone's office, and that's what I'm trying to do. And so when I do the phone calls, I send multiple, when I do, make an appointment, I also send them multiple reminders about the appointments to make sure that they actually show up for the appointment, which is, very important. I control the conversation to make sure that the appointment, um, you know, anyway, that it actually does actually happen, like I said. And last but not least, I let them know that they can always reach out to me. I do get phone calls back about things happening in the person's life at the last minute, and reschedulings happen, and oh, my GPS sent me to the wrong place, and which is actually great, so that
Right.
person, it shows that the person has a communication to me. So anyway, that is the kind of thing that happens, that makes this successful, and is not just a person like a regular telemarketing system. So in a nutshell, that is what I do. That has made this very, very successful, and gets the people, the PI patients in the door. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah, so we go on statistics. We run our personal organization as well as run on statistics. And I don't know if there's a way to even show like before and after graphs on this, because we're on Dr. Tony's Zoom meeting. Is there a way to do that, Mariani, or not really on this?
Unless I have access, but I'm not prepared for that. I did not.
Oh, you're not? Okay, sorry. We should
Yeah.
have heard that ahead of time.
Thanks for
And
sharing that stuff.
we do have like graphs that just, you can look at it. You could look at the graph and you could go, before Juliana entered the chiropractic office to do phone calls, after Juliana entered the office. And then you can see that the line goes like this. And then I'll like instantly up number of PIs in the door, right? And
But
that's
anybody watching this video, if they would like to see those graphs, they can send a direct message and we'll send them the graphs.
Yeah, that's good to know. We'll let them know that. Thanks.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of in a nutshell what we do, and we've been doing a long time. I have a great team. We have a great team. Everybody working with us, and they're all women. That doesn't mean anything, but I just tend to have almost all women, but not for any weird reason, just cause. But yeah. So do you have any points we should cover a little bit more, Dr. William?
Well, I think you covered most of the practical steps. They basically get a hold of you if you're interested in getting an accident list, of course, to check your state laws. If not, you can do that for them. I'm sure as quality a professional fee to do that, to protect all that's involved. There's a lot of doctors though with a couple questions. A lot of them think they've done this before and it didn't work. What do you usually say to the doctors like that? They probably don't do it right, I'm sure.
I go through a series of questions. I literally go through I have a mental checklist in my head of like areas I've seen people violate what they should do. I get the best analogy for me to use to try to communicate this concept is marketing is its own animal, and it has like a science. It literally has workable technology to it. Just let's use chiropractic. Just like chiropractic has workable technology to it. Like you got trained on how to do certain things, like muscle testing. I go to a chiropractor too. So it's like you get muscle testing or whatever you get. There's a science to it. There's an exact way you do something that that it's working or not working. This is no different. This is not some like, I mean, this is marketing. Marketing has laws, axioms, like truths to it. And I often, because of my training, I've been trained in a number of these laws. I'm like, well, what about marketing? What makes marketing work? Like, I know what these things are. So when I'm dealing with chiropractors, I know I have two things in front of me. I have a chiropractor who's trained as a chiropractor. So that's their tools they've learned and what they went to school for. And they're also a business owner. Now, a lot of times chiropractors don't go to business owner school, like administrative, and that can be a problem. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about listening to this, because you're now a business owner and that can be a problem. And I understand that. I'm a business owner and I run into that too, but I've had training as well on that as well. So my point is marketing has rules and laws. And so I mentally go through when somebody's telling me they've done it and hasn't worked before, there's a checklist I kind of roll through in my head when I'm talking to them. And I can find every time somewhere that they're violating basic laws or basic rules on marketing. So that's kind of the answer I would give you on that of Dr. Williams. That's how I would come back, or my communication back to that point.
Okay, great. No doubt, great points. And
Yeah.
For the doctors who are jumping on after 1 o'clock when we play these sessions, we are talking with Annie Brown, Mariani there, and Juliana. Hey, you get the last name, Annie. And I don't know the other last names. And we're talking about, a lot of doctors have asked about requesting, can I get accident lists in my state or my city? And so now we're bringing this service right into our PI Doctors Elite community. And a lot of the doctors that I've talked to, they assume they know the laws. They assume, and verbally has been told this and that. And you know what? I always tell them to get it in writing and get it from the direct authorities before you assume, because you miss out on a lot of things. And that's pretty much in life. You assume this, and assume that. Get it in writing, black and white, so it's right there and you will know. And no, there's no doubt. I guess the question would be is, me as the doctor and my staff, I cannot do this out of my office, but can I hire a professional marketing team like yourself to delineate between the restrictions of that law?
Wow.
I'm hiring a marketing company to do it for me, so I'm not doing it. Have you heard of that? That's something
That's the first time you brought that up, and you've
never
thrown that one at me before.
I had a couple doctors ask me about that because they're smarter than me, and I figured, yeah, I would have to ask that because
Good question.
To my conscious level, that's a whole different.
It's a very, very, very good question. There's not an easy way to answer that question, and the reason is there's at least 52 states. So I mean, honestly, when somebody, I always tell somebody, just call me or text me on my cell. We can jump on a phone call. The first thing is where are you from? Where do you live? What state are you in? Some of the states most of the states I have a lot of the laws that I know, and I know them just because I've dealt with them so much, and some I don't. And we've almost finished almost all of the laws, the research on the legalities of every state. I think we've got a handful left, right, Mariani? Like 8. Maybe there's 8 states we haven't done the research on. So my attorney, and then also, if you get the legal research from us and we send it to you and you have questions on my attorney's, what he found, in fact, I have a guy right now I'm dealing with in Oregon, and I've probably been on the phone with him, the chiropractor who bought the legal research, and my attorney who did it. We've been on the phone probably 4 times with him, just because he keeps coming up with kind of questions, this chiropractor. Well, what about this aspect? And we're running into some stops from his police stations and sheriff's department. So we go to bat for you. Like if you're wanting to get those crash reports, I don't just need glibly, like mindlessly call your stations. Oh no, we go for a yes or a no. And if we get a no back from the station, we want it in writing from the station. Like, what law are you applying to stop us from getting crash reports when it says it's public record? And they have to submit us the data in writing. That's a law. And I actually get my attorney anytime I get a stop. I'm like a bulldog. Like, I'm like, you're not going to stop us. Give us the crash reports, right? Like, we're due them unless they actually come back with an actual legit law, like a legit one. Because there could be a local law or something, but that's not so frequent. But we will take it to the hilt and go as far as we can until we cannot go any farther to get the crash reports. Now, I've kind of doubly openly answered your question above and beyond, but really what happens is you should just have someone call me, because there's really no easy answer to the question you asked. You know, it depends on the
So,
state, it depends on the circumstance, you know?
Yeah, no, all great points. And so real quickly for a lot of doctors that are watching, I know there's some states real quickly that a lot of doctors know that they can do these or get that marketing team from your team to get these accident lists. I know Tennessee is one from Dr. Glenn Burfer, who's a member of our PI Doctors League Committee, Dr. Lieberman, who's in Minnesota, and where it all began are two states I know that are pretty well done, that you can, if you're from Minnesota and from Tennessee, you can call them real quickly and maybe work with this team. I don't know if there's any other few more states that you can mention real quick, just for the interest.
Sure, I can give
Maybe
you a couple.
those states that can call you real quick.
Yeah, I can tell you some states right off the bat that'll be fine, that we can deal with you. And when I say
I'm not
deal with-
gonna let you go 42 states because you got 8 yet to figure out, but.
I'll tell you some of the
Give me
states.
just a few.
Yeah, some of our favorite states is Oregon. Minnesota's good, but there's no phone calls to crash victims, but you can get the crash report and do mailings and get PIs in the door. Wisconsin's great. You can mail, you can call. Iowa, same thing. Boston or Massachusetts, love it. But you can mail and call crash victims.
Arkansas as well, Amy.
Arkansas, thank you. What else am I missing? I feel like I'm missing like a number of them.
I know in
Ohio.
Missouri,
Ohio.
I think it's 60 days, as I would think.
Which one is it? Did you say?
Isn't Missouri 60 days?
Missouri's 30.
Is it 30 now?
Florida's
Oh.
60.
Florida's 60, okay. Good, that's some good points. See that they'll know that at least they can probably.
California's out. Don't even call me from California or Hawaii. They're out.
In New
Yeah.
York, we
Oh,
consider
yeah.
them like red states. We're not
Yeah,
able to
we have-
provide those services.
They're red states, meaning we can't do anything for you.
see,
And the
that-
reason
that's-
is they're not public record. The crash reports themselves aren't public records. So
Yeah,
the minute they're not public record, my whole programs goes to pot because we depend on being able to get crash reports.
Well, that's good to know. Maybe we'll list those states with the post in the session, because then a lot of them will be listening
Yeah.
from those states, and that will hurry up to make an active move then. All right, so let's tell us how to get in touch with you all.
Well, you can call directly. Is it Mariani? Am I going to give him my number? Is that what I'm
Yeah.
doing?
Mhm.
So you can call my number or here's the first thing you should do is text me. Just text right away. And what you should text me is this, just your name, Dr. Schmidt, your address of your clinic. And then obviously I'll have your phone number because you'll be texting me. That's all I really need. Your name, Dr. Schmidt, and the blah, 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 blah address, and you can even say, hey, I'd like to jump on a call. And then we'll set up a little Calendly appointment, and great, we can jump on a call. That's it. And here's my number, 818-653-0288, 818-653-0288. And then also our website is prospectprovidersusa.com. So prospect is singular, providers is plural, USA.com. And then what else am I giving them? Anything else? Did I forget something?
Yes,
They can
and
have
you-
our email.
number has stayed the same, and it was 2 hours Pacific Standard Time a year ago, and now it's Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to tell you.
I'm in Eastern.
I'm in the
I'm with
middle.
you. Aren't you in Eastern?
I'm in Central.
Oh, you're Central. Okay. All right.
Yes, and I know in New Jersey that's Eastern too. And
Julianne and I are the same time zone. That's right.
California, Mariani is 2 years younger than all of us. Yeah, 2 years, actually 3 years younger than you two.
That's right.
2 years younger than me. That's what I say. Time zones. We're just talking time zones, Doc, just having fun. So, yes, so that's the same number. Give her your text out of courtesy for sure. Tell her you are a PI Doctor Elite Community. She'll come back right for you as priority, and she's just done wonders for a lot of doctors to enhance their practices of personal injury. All right, does any of you have any more to say? Because then we'll get them back to their afternoon patient rounds and start having them contact you, man. to get
We're
you-
looking forward to helping you guys. We have a great team. We're fun to work with.
Yeah.
And if we can, if PIs can be gotten into your door, we will get them in.
Yeah, and no doubt they're great leads, they're great professionals, and look at this as an investment to your practice, to enhance it, to grow your practice. you know, one case is worth the amount of money that you try to do on other ads and things, and now you've got a focal point that these professionals can help you out with. And I want to thank Annie Brown and her team again, 818-653-0288 Eastern Standard Time. So do not call her at 7 o'clock. Well, you can call her at 7 o'clock because it'd be 8 o'clock there. I used to say, don't call her at 7 because it's 5 a.m. in California.
That's right. That's right.
That's Mariani now. Don't call
That's
her.
Mariani. Don't call Mariani either.
So anyway, I want to thank all of you for being here, your time, expertise, always the education you give all our doctors. We're approaching the 4,000 member mark now, so you
Wow.
really give you some busy work, hopefully, by doing this new fresh presentation on things you're doing out there. And just in what, 6 months talking with you, I already found out you change your location. So
I moved on
yeah,
you.
looking forward for the Rose Bowl parade every year in January, and now I got to go to California. I got to go.
Oh, that's right. Well, you know, hey,
Hey,
maybe
beautiful.
sometime I'll be up where your neck of the woods is. My daughter lives in Kansas City. So
Kansas City. Yeah, we're a Chiefs fans, Kansas City Chiefs. So
that's right.
all right, we're gonna let y'all go. Thanks again. We will have this
Thank you, doctor.
Yes, thank you very much.
To the doctors, this is recorded in the session, and to make sure you get all the points that Annie, Mariani, and Juliana has given you, you can reference back. We'll have all her number posted in the prospects providers, the USA.com post, so you can make sure you contact them. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go in all the different time zones. Let's head forward, stay healthy. Let's make it happen. I will talk to you down the road. Thank you. All right,
Ciao.
session's now ended.